watching yakntexas, how-tos and kayak fishing reviews with Ty Sutherland. Brought to you by Mariner Sails, Wind and Paddle Sports.
Hey, welcome back to yakntexas. I'm going to talk about a product today that I get a lot of questions about, something I use in my kayak a lot, and that's the backwater paddle. Bam! I spent a lot of time in canoes and john boats before kayaks, and in those days I used to use a sculling paddle, which is a short wooden paddle where I would use one hand and scull through the bayous of South Louisiana and stuff. It worked fantastic. When we got in the kayaks, I was still trying to use the same short wooden paddle. And man, lo and behold, years ago, the Backwater Paddle Company came out. They actually came out with two versions in a wood. And one was long and skinny, and one was shorter and fatter. And that was the first ones I used. And you can see on some early yakntexas videos of me using the early wood. But they've gone to this floating plastic, and I'm glad they did because it's tough and it has a lot of uses. Of course, the obvious use of the backwater paddle is paddling. You don't always have to get out your big paddle with these things, and that's why I love them. When I just need to scoop when I'm throwing up into the trees bass fishing and the plugs are pulling me into the trees, I don't have to get that big paddle out and start awkwardly going backwards. I just pick this thing up from my side and I just make a few scoops and I pull myself out and I'm off with my Hobie. These things are critical with Hobies because we don't have any other propulsion than forward. So here's your backward motion in a handy little paddle that sits right at your side, very easy to grab. Much easier than grabbing a large paddle. Here's my buddy David. We were fishing in Tampa, Florida. He's struggling with his large double-bladed paddle and fighting a fish. So I threw in my backwater paddle. As you can see, the backwater paddle floats and it's much less awkward for just maneuvering for a slight distance. There you go. There you go. One of the main uses that the backwater paddle assault has facilitated is grabbing stuff with this hook. When you're sitting by the dock and you left your rod on the dock, you need to get back to that dock, you just reach out and grab the edge of that dock and pull yourself toward it. That little hook right there is great for grabbing tree branches and pulling yourself. It's great for grabbing docks and pulling yourself in. It's also great for if you drop some trash in the water, it'll grab it and pick it up, you know, like a cellophane wrapper or a Ziploc bag or something. I use that hook for a lot of stuff, grabbing onto other kayaks and pulling them close to me. It's a very handy tool to keep at your side on your dominant hand. That hook is amazing. These teeth I use for pushing off of a bank, like when I'm launching. I'll just push off with the teeth. Okay, other uses for the backwater paddle that they may not have intended. If you check out some of my 30 miles out videos, you'll see me using this assault in an assault-like fashion. Whack! I use it to whack, stun Spanish mackerel and king mackerel when I'm bringing them in, especially if I've forgotten my spear gaff or something. It's just a handy way to stun big toothy fish. Another thing that I've discovered that the assault is very, very handy for, since it's is a cutting board, because it is plastic. I'll lay a whole mullet up there and I'll just start chopping away. Cutting board, fish whacker, paddle, and grabber all in one. The assault hand paddle is an essential part of my kayak fishing. Till next time, I'm Ty and you've been watching yakntexas. What?